So I'm about to do something that I've been encouraging my students to do for almost 20 years. I am running for office, specifically St. John Harbour in the upcoming provincial election. I want to invite you today to have a socially distanced coffee. It's going to be a bit one way today, but I hope tomorrow that will begin to change. Over the last couple of days, and they've been crazy ones, because this was not in the plans, but certainly something I'm very excited about. I've been thinking about what it is that I can bring to the legislature and why I would like to be a member. And it occurs to me that really it's what I've been doing with my students for the last 20 years that may be the best asset for this moment in time. Ideas, problem solving, strategies. Look, I wrote them down right here. And they're all feeding into one another. So this is what I do. I have a group of students in front of me. And although they might at first think of me as their teacher, and I am, and fair warning, in the beginning I often talk a lot, first few days, to kind of figure out what it is we're going to do together. But then it's them. They are coming together to generate ideas. They are figuring out what strategies need to be implemented in order to bring it to reality. We are training as educators, problem solvers, critical thinkers. And in my classes in particular, world issues in law, it really lends itself to the kind of conversations that we see taking place in Fredericton and beyond right now. I've honed the skill of getting people from diverse backgrounds, thousands of young people, rich, poor, Black, white, socioeconomic diversity, a refugee fleeing danger in their home country. I've worked with these kids, and it doesn't matter which idea comes from which kid. The idea stands on its own. And so the first thing I want to say about myself as a candidate is I'm here to listen not just to the people that already agree with my positions or the party's positions, but to listen to others as well, authentically, because my goodness, nobody's voice in my classroom is more important than anybody else's. Now, that being said, I do have to take a look and see which party, in my view, has the most good ideas, strategies, and built-in problem solvers. And for me, that's red. That's liberal. I think Premier Higgs had the right idea by trying to get everybody together for a little while. I teach law, and we can question, how democratic it is to have this blank check for a period of time. That's neither here nor there, because I'll tell you this, if I asked a group of my students to come up with plans for the province over the next month, and I gave them 3 days, I think there'd be a mutiny. And I'd be proud of them for rising up and saying, this is unrealistic. And yet, the government was expected to reach an agreement to give Premier Higgs a majority, essentially, until 2022. After 34 days of ignoring Kevin Vickers, I don't think so. And so here we find ourselves in an election in the midst of a pandemic, and that fully distant coffee and falling book. Now, ideas. This is what I live for. I love intellectually considering and trying to bring these diverse groups together. I have a lot of experience with that. One of my favorite ideas, actually, and I'm quite excited about this. Those miniature nuclear reactors that our leader Kevin Vickers is talking about, He even said in his press conference last week that it's a save the world kind of idea. And some may have thought, whoa, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but actually not. You know, in world issues, it's one of the best ideas that has ever been brought to me. And to be clear, the ideas I bring are not just from me, but rather they are from the students who worked together and came up with them. I can't tell which ones in here are mine and which are theirs. They blend. You want to hear the voice of young people? I can channel that in the future and draw upon my past. And to the present day kids that are there, I'll miss you, and we'll see where this goes. But it was time for me to walk the walk. So those miniature nuclear reactors, you know, some people are really concerned about nuclear technology, and that's fair. It's scary what has happened in the past, but we also had rockets exploding in the 60s, and now we have SpaceX landing rockets automatically and in sync, if you ever saw that phenomenal video. We now could be a world leader in a safe, effective, efficient, green technology. And we already have a nuclear power plant. So that's just one idea. I'm not going to go on about a whole bunch today. This is a conversation starter. And I know me, probably already going to go a little bit long. Sometimes I talk a little bit fast to make up for that. So when he said he was greener than the Greens, Mr. Vickers, there's something to be said there when we focus on nuclear technology. And some may point to, for example, not closing a coal plant in a rural, struggling area. I get that. You can't just close a business and send everybody off to the unemployment line. A just transition to a greener economy involves training somebody with really good, enjoyable training. Bring in some teachers for it. And you transition to a new, greener job. You know, a coal worker one day is installing solar panels after this training. And the whole time they're training, they're getting paid their normal salary. That's a just transition. And that's the kind of thing the Liberal Party is looking at. I want us to be the SpaceX of science in New Brunswick, bringing new technologies and learning. Because at the end of the day, I'm a learner and an unlearner. My students teach me more than I teach them, and I intend to have the citizens who will engage with me over the next 4 weeks and beyond, win or lose. I love to talk about stuff. So please, no matter the party, let's go. That's my ideas section and how we can deal with open-minded young people that I deal with every day, impressive young people. And if you're dismissive of them, take one quick look at Greta Thunberg and see what young people can accomplish. We want to hear from them. I like to believe that the members of the Legislative Assembly are also capable of being open-minded. Let's see what we can do. And let's look to the world and pull some ideas in. No need to reinvent the wheel. We find something really cool that works, and I love this stuff. My students bring those in too and say, could that work here? Probably. Ideas. Next, problem solving. I think I love to do most, and I say this to St. John Harbour. You're already really good at this. You've started up these phenomenal services that really look after the needs of people in the community, whether it's the Community Loan Fund or Romero House, ECAPI, Human Development Council, organizations like Fusion. It's impressive what groups of individuals can do, and most of it doesn't get a shout out like I just did, because it's happening grassroots, door to door, neighbor to neighbor, in a crisis and outside a crisis. You're solving problems together. And you may be too busy working 2 jobs to engage in the political sphere, like I'm prepared to do, but you're sitting there with an idea. you can solve problems. So jump in. I want to say just to the other candidates briefly, welcome. Day one. I look forward to learning from each of you and talking with each of you. It's going to be pretty exciting. But at the end of the day, I think the province is best served by putting someone in the legislature who understands the mechanisms of problem solving and bringing diverse groups of individuals together to reach some consensus. And if we're heading towards another minority government, then that's going to be essential. Or we're going to be right back here. We're going to be right back here having another election. So I will ask you to lend me your vote, even if traditionally you vote for a different party. I've done that before. Greens. We have a protest vote over not reforming how the electoral system works. Plus, I knew Wayne, who's awesome, would still win. Not sure you're supposed to say this kind of stuff in a political opening speech, but here I am. I want to talk about some of my problems that need to be solved. So first, I'm new. I will acknowledge that right away. I mean, I love politics and policy and ideas, but I'm new to running in a political campaign in this province. I've been told that those first visits to citizens, can be difficult, but I love that. I love that stuff. But I'm going to kind of take a page out of an early part of my career, which I started at Lorne Middle School, which is just down the street from where I live now in a little duplex here on Sussex Drive. So yes, I'm slightly outside the riding, but have worked uptown for almost 20 years. Lived on 3 different streets uptown in years past, Princess, Germain, and Waterloo for a time. I may have grown up in Milledgeville and live on the border of the North End in Milledgeville, but trust me, an enormous chunk of my heart and time exists in the St. John Harbour. So when I ended up at Lorne, it was a challenge. Any teachers out there, but also I would say parents, guardians, the middle school age can be a challenge. So I had to learn on the go, and again, very diverse students loved it. And then high school, there were a few less challenges in one respect, maybe some others. I kind of want to start the campaign like that. So here's a thought, a plan. I wish to sit down. I have to pick a day soon, but 10 hours, 10 people, 10 coffees, although I'm not going to drink 10 coffees because my head would explode. I want to sit down with people that don't agree at present with the Liberal Party. I want to meet with business owners. I want to meet with citizens. I want that to be the first group of people I meet, socially distanced, at a Tim Hortons, of course, and talk to me. Talk to me about what you don't agree with. Ask me questions. I am an open book. So that's going to be fun. The second thing, I wanted to say is, when it comes to the business community, this is not my professional background, but it is my heritage. My grandfather, who passed away when I was young, built Floor Fashions, which still stands today. And his wife, my grandmother, who just passed away this summer, had this burning entrepreneurial spirit. Every time I came up with an idea, whether it was to sell this little thing or run a lawn mowing business in Milledgeville, she was always right there. And she built in me this entrepreneurial spirit. Not the same as all the business experience, but again, the key is to listen. And I want to listen to the business community because I have some ideas. And I know the Liberal Party does as well. I want to learn from any age group. My own kids, home from school for such a long time now, had some cool assignments from their teachers, but I threw in a little something from time to time, build your own country. And my goodness, they came up with some phenomenal ideas. everyone is my teacher. And I think that's a key point when it comes to problem solving, because people need to know that you are there listening. Third category, strategies. I want to just list a few of the strategies I have for the coming month. And the first, and arguably most important one, is a personal one. It is self-care. My incredible partner, a German citizen who moved here a little over 2 years ago, so we could be together. She has helped to build and rebuild me over the last rather difficult 4 years. She's my rock, and she loves politics. She's excited about this campaign. You'll hear from her at some point. Maybe meet her when we're out. But I'm going to listen to her. She's kind of my number one advisor on a lot of things. Gives really good advice. And I think a lot of you know this kind of story where you pick yourself back up, or you're about to. You will. And government is here to support that. And you could do that too. People in this city pick themselves up. And it's my firm belief in that gives me so much hope, regardless of how many dark world issues or local issues you might see. I have that hope. Second strategy is really to focus on democracy. I teach citizenship above all. How do democracies work? And we look around the world and we look south of the border and we see democracies under threat. So when I see behavior in the legislature that, in my opinion, is a little bit undemocratic, let's just say it engages me. And I see this as a learning opportunity, perhaps even for my students who will be in the classroom without me for a while. Because I think we need to not only talk democracy, but like anything else, we all need to learn about these cornerstones of our society. Third strategy for my campaign, I want to have some debates. I love them. We organize them in my classrooms all the time to hone our skills and to bring facts and to be respectful. And I know we are experiencing this unique campaign in the midst of a pandemic, but that's no reason that we can't get together for socially distanced and hopefully televised debates. So I invite my fellow candidates to sit down with me in whatever safe format to talk about the issues as many times as you like, because I think that's how we all learn sometimes, to have an interesting back and forth conversation, not just a long talk like this one. Number 4, I'm sorry, Premier Higgs, I watched your news conference today, and your instruction that candidates not go door to door is, and I teach the charter, quite blatantly unconstitutional. I mean, pull out the Emergency Measures Act if you wish, but we're gathering in buildings legally with under 50. We're eating at restaurants. You're putting middle school students back in without shrinking their class size. We are currently engaging in a level of risk and trying to be as safe as possible. So I tell you this, I'm going door to door. The Conservatives may not want to speak to the people, but I sure do. And it is kind of a way to prevent people who were previously unengaged from, possibly getting engaged in the system, which is my goal with students. It's my goal with citizens. Let's get engaged. And that can't be done from a distance. Not everybody has the internet, Premier Higgs. I had students last year who needed to have an internet connection in order to keep learning and didn't. I ended up visiting them so I could give them some books and so they could learn that way. So the idea that we can't go door to door, no. Here's how it's going to work for me if you're seeing me. So first, I think I got to get to the thrift store where I actually buy all my clothes. And hopefully the thrift store in Lansdowne has a red umbrella. This doesn't have to be red, but I kind of want it to be red. And I'm going to be out in the rain sometimes, one hopes. This weather can't continue. And you can use an umbrella to poke a doorbell. Rap on the door, old school. I'll never touch the end of that umbrella, so it'll be safe. And then I'll take a few steps back. Probably just damage the floor. I take a few steps back. And then a few things are going to happen. One, maybe your face, dear citizen, appears in the window above and shakes your head. And that's fine. I don't know what you've got going on. You might not want to talk. You might have some anxiety. I'm out in the public now. I'm not shaking hands, but I'm out more. I get it. Maybe you don't want to talk. Just go to the door, shake your head, maybe wave your hand. I'll give you a wave. All right. And then I'm moving on. Send me a message if you want. We can talk that way. You can come to the door and say to me whether it's okay for me to take off my mask because I have it on. Let me know. Take it off. I'm going to be 2-3 meters away. And talk to me. Teach me. Ask me some questions. Ask some questions about the Liberal Party and why I'm proud to represent it in St. John Harbour. This vibrant riding at home of a Renaissance and so many people whose friendship and hard work I appreciate so greatly. Talk to me. If you're in the middle of a live sports game, I get it. I used to be an athlete myself. Premier Higgs was a goalkeeper, goaltender in hockey. I was a goalkeeper in soccer. And, I get it. I understand. If you got to go, you got to go. You don't want to talk. Fine. But I'm going to give you the opportunity. And it will be safe. And unconstitutional to stop candidates from doing this. Go on the record saying that. I would like to shift to two things that I heard from my advisors yesterday. It's been 2 short days, but I already have quite a team around me. Some really sharp, creative friends, and some individuals who have worked a lot of campaigns in the past, which is essential because I need to lean on that knowledge. But they said 2 things that really need to keep in mind right now as a candidate. The first is a community profile, like who am I? What have I done? So I've talked a little bit about teaching. Yep, I've done that. I've loved that, and I've worked with just incredible educators and students. But I've also done a couple of other things that it is worth discussing and that is relevant to choosing me for a leadership role. The first would be my time with the New Brunswick Teachers Association provincially. I served on the board for 6 years and was elected to serve as the volunteer vice president in Fredericton with 3 other candidates in the race. And I took more than half the votes and was honored to serve students and teachers in this capacity for 6 years. Student project once upon a time kind of morphed into a Skype link with some kids in Uganda who needed a bit of support. We were really motivated to make it bigger, and so started putting together a team. Again, extraordinary educators and students. Ended up forming a registered charity with 60 schools across North America that participated and regularly Skype with kids on the other side of the globe, mutual learning, and a few $100,000 fundraising sent and spent well. The story did not end well. You can ask me sometime the details if you wish, but an awful lot of people were, I hope, educated in unique ways through this experience. Then I had an educational leave and wanted to do a bit of a project alongside it. Wanted teachers around the world to start teaching the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, this bright, beautiful plan for a better world. Tiny nuclear power plants, for example, fit right into SDG 13, for example. Put together a team of teachers, learn together, and then expand it outward and reaching every country on Earth, except for the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. You know, just because somebody puts democratic or, you know, any name in front of themselves, like progressive, it's branding. North Korea is basically called Democracy, 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 Korea. Anyway, side note. And so our team ended up getting to speak at a major event at the United Nations, expanded to become more than 400 ambassadors around the world and tens of thousands of classrooms, starting to bring the world into their classroom in meaningful ways. And again, to be clear, I did not do all these things. It was always a team. I love to build teams. We brought them together. We made our mistakes. I have fallen flat on my face more times than I can count. And I have learned from mistakes and cherished some of the successes. I want to do this again. I want to bring together a team of strong individuals. I want to join a team of, you know, experienced leaders who I wish to learn from, and also see, you know, how we can engage in some problem solving to find the ideas that serve this province, to serve our riding. 6. Oh, wait, second one, manage expectations. I'm going to skip this one. My campaign manager was talking to me about fundraising because that's the thing. Side note, it would be nice if politicians didn't have to fundraise, but that's neither here nor there. Whole other issue. It would be fantastic. I'm just going to come right out and say it. If the people who support my candidacy, who support the Liberal Party, who think that I would be a good member of the Legislative Assembly, could chip in $5. You know, I would rather have a lot of donors chipping in $5 than seeking out, you know, larger donations. Although, if you want to make a larger donation, awesome. I'd like to do some Facebook ads here in this COVID campaign. Signs are a must, I'm told. Maybe there's a mail out. There's a lot to be done, takes money, and this election is important. People often like to say that, oh, the two major parties are exactly alike. But, you know, I challenge students whenever they say that. And it's not my job to tell them which one is better or not, but rather to say, well, no, this one tends to stand for, you know, higher taxes on the wealthy and more services. Where this one tends to stand for, you know, lower taxes, less money out of your pockets, but perhaps more likely to cut services. You know, it's complex and it involves a lot of economics, which I also teach. So it would be fantastic to have that support. So hop on over to the MB Liberal website. Please make sure to pick St. John Harbour riding so that our team can access those funds that we really need right now, and we're in a bit of a rush. There's one way to reach out to you, but there will be others. And speaking of reaching out, I put it in big, bold, red letters here. I'm going to have to cover a couple names, but there it is. Volunteers, absolutely essential. I'm going to reach out to a lot of you, you know, former students, you know, that I've seen you work. You're phenomenal, right? But also, you know, it's not the students that got, you know, an A or a D. That's not the value. All of these individuals have value, but value, in my view, intelligence comes from, you know, can you bring in new information and decide what it means to you and what is factual, and maybe then shift your opinion. You know, my students can get pretty good at that. I want them by my side, ones that I've taught over the last 20 years. I want my friends by my side. So if you want in, either to walk with me, to engage in some graphic design, website, social media, whatever skills you can bring, reach out to me. And to a lot of you, if maybe you don't reach out to me, I'll just assume maybe you didn't watch the video, and I'll still reach out to you over the next few days. Because this is absolutely an all hands on deck election. You know, the future of tax reform, Clinic 554, green energy, a whole other list of issues that I'm going to get into over the coming weeks, but not today. Strategy number 6, as I keep going here with this marathon introductory video, I have an idea. You know, I'm bringing lots of ideas from students, from experts, from people who've served the community for a really long time. I'm going to be harnessing ideas, but wouldn't it be nice if the government harnessed ideas in a really meaningful way? Not a poll, not a bubble sheet, certainly not, you know, a bunch of Twitter comments, but an actual structured submission of what you think is a good idea. Because you're sitting there, you've got a good idea. You talk about it sometimes at night. You know, you're tired, you know, you're stressed, but you might be thinking an idea like, oh, if only this province could do X. Write it down, keep it short. Send some links. Did another country do this? Could it work here? List it. What's the strategy to bring it into play? Check a box that says you talked to 3 people about this. And I mean talk, not talk. And then send your idea in. People can elevate specific ideas up high. You can publish them in the Telegraph Journal. Jamie Irving, hi. Somebody bringing some good ideas. I don't care the party. Somebody wants to design this? Cool. I'll put it on my website. But I think it's something government should do. And it's the kind of approach to leadership I will take if I am to be so honored and fortunate to assume a seat in the Legislative Assembly. We need your ideas. We need fresh ideas. Finally, number 7, my Facebook page. It's going to be up and running tomorrow. I hope you'll give it a like. Yes, I'll probably reach out and maybe remind you that it's there. You'll be able to donate and engage in conversations. I hope to see the other candidates there. You know, we can talk a little bit like this in public. Fantastic. I'll be on your pages asking questions, and I look forward to seeing you in person. Sorry if this was too long, but I had a few things to say here at the start. Now it's your turn. Reach out anytime. And my umbrella and I will see you at the door. Bye.